going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Hatcher Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
But I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the out pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped you all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike. Good have a go. Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the TSRC Abruzzi GT4 series, live from what can only be deemed as a rain-soaked Zolder. I'm James Parver, going to be joined in the booth by Tom Cairns here this evening as well. 3.95 kilometres in length, and well, it's absolutely drenched. I've been sat here watching practice. It's been very, very interesting indeed. Let's bring you up to date in the championship standings as they stand before this race. Right up until right now, Bart Raven leads in the Crack Racing team. He's on 60 points as Raven, taken 2 wins already this season, and is looking very, very strong in the GT4s. James Smaggersgowl in second on 46, with Mav Gardner in third and Matt Cheverton in fourth. Stefan Mellis down in 5th place. There we go. David Long in 6th, Johnny Wu in 7th, Marcio Lopez in 8th. Then you've got Grant Miller, Gareth Ronda, Joe Thomas, Nathan Lewis Stone, Niels Cool, Matt Smith, Pavel Bogan, Lewis Mason, Stephen Hunter, Mark Pfizer below that one. Then you've got Thomas Martin, Marcus Cook, Luca de Gracias, Miles Owens, Nikki Fujikawa and Louis Heskev, who has not got points on the board. In the pro standings at this moment in time, Richard Simnor is out in front on 54 points after the the podium for the DCW Racing Boys last week. Pollard was second, Simnor got third. Mikey Pollard sitting in second in the championship, just ahead of last week's winner, Jamie Nuttall. Hayden Miller fourth, Tom Davidson, Felix Smogy, Kieran Sharp, Liam Giles, Pierre-Antoine Dallaire, Gollum Hamling, Ryan Walker, and Dika Angry, and Fleming Jensen rounds out the top 13. Then you've got Andrew Pike, Scott Warner, Nick Clibbins, William Chandler, and Richard Phillips on 14. Then Rob Maynard, Bobby Moss, Toby Prosser, Jack Selfield, and Tom de Jong round out the 23 cars in that championship itself. It's going to be very, very, very exciting indeed, and well, you can see the track is slowly drying out for these guys. The rain has stopped. There was a chance that it would stop for this race, but it is still going to leave it wet. Let's bring Tom into the booth now as well. Tom, welcome in, bud.
Hello there, James. Hello to everyone tuning in to the latest round of the Abruzzi GT4 Championship in the TSRC, and we can see drivers just making their way on. This is Andrew Pike making his way through the infield section of the course. It's a rather tricky one given the conditions, but he's making his way through there nice and sound, and it's coming towards the right-hander of the lap. That is known as the Jochen Rindt corner before he heads to the chicane. Oh, it's the Boulderberg corner, I should say. And then it's the Jochen Rindt chicane, and it's the Jackie X box, as it's known in Belgium, but we'll just call it the Jackie X chicane because it's easier to remember. But there you go. So the track is drying out, as you've mentioned, but how quickly will it dry out before we start seeing drivers going on to dry tyres?
Well, it depends what state it's going to be after qualifying. Currently, at the moment, they're all on wets, okay? That's the situation. They are all on wet tyres. The weather at the moment, 18 degrees centigrade, so it's not exactly overly warm on the track. 19 degrees in the air. I think it's one of the things I think I've noticed within iRacing's temperature system is the rain can take a while to dry depending on the weather temperature. Obviously, the warmer it is, the quicker it dries. The cooler it is, the slower it dries. It's fairly straightforward, right? If I stick the washing out and it's been raining, I can guarantee it's not as going to dry as quick as if it was if the sun was out at 17 degrees, for instance. This is kind of the same scenario. It's very, very treacherous at the moment. They want to stay off the curbs. It's imperative that they do. Now, one of the things we are going to look out for is the Klein Chicane Turn 5, because most of the time they would ride both curbs at a rate of knots. They're not going to be able to do that. They've got to be very careful. Dropping down the other side as well, coming into Villeneuve Chicane, is another one that generally you would look at taking some of the curbage. You've got to try and stay away or try and get the throttle down like Andrew Pike is now after the chicane, because normally you would stick the power on mid-chicane, you get the car slowed down. It's like anything, slow in, fast out, get it slowed down, get it in the middle, get it ready to go. The problem is you get it ready to go, you're still going to be on the curb. So they've got to wait as much as possible here to try and get the power down in the cars, but they cannot cannot do it in the conventional way at this moment in time. Felix Smogy just go on top, 51.075. Southfield 48.53. Obviously, there's a clear domination of Jack Southfield sitting on pole at the moment, Tom. He's just probably better in the rain and that Aston Martin the most.
Well, we're just looking at Southfield, who's gone fastest of all, but we only have 5 drivers posting lap times, so expect the track to pick up, because more and more grip is going to be laid down, more and more rubber is going to be left on the track. So this is by no means representative so far. I would expect lap times to come down minute by minute by minute, and we've got 10 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time for drivers to improve, but you want to get a feel of the conditions at the present moment.
Yeah, Mikey Pollard not got a time at the board at the moment as well. So unfortunately for Mikey, no time as of yet. He is currently sitting all the way down near the end of the grid. That's due to the fact that obviously he hasn't got a time on the board. I'm sure he will here. Don't see currently his teammate Richard Simnor in this race. So maybe Richard's not here this evening. Good second for Pollard last time out. Good third for Simnor at Road Atlanta. Both of them like the circuit, and at the end of the day, they've probably done hundreds and hundreds of laps from Petit Le Mans and in different leagues that track is actually on. So fair play to them on this. It's going to be interesting to see what Pollard's going to be able to do. There was an off track in the first race. Johnny Wu goes up into third. Stefan Mellis is just going over the line now, 148, but it doesn't look like that's counted. Southfield again going purple in the middle 2 sections and green in the third. What's he going to do coming over the line? Jamie Nuttall goes over the line in front of him on a 150. Southfield again going to go over the line. What's he going to do? 48.548. So still a 48, but no improvements. What about Mikey Pollard? Are you going to get something on the board here, Mike? And at the moment, he hasn't got anything going over the line now for Pollard. What's he going to be able to do? What's he going to get here? Is he going to get anything? 50.6. He got something, but it's more of a banker than an actual representative lap.
Yeah. So the fastest time we've got at the moment is a 148.5. Southfield doing very well with the conditions he had not too long ago, and drivers just trying to find time as they can. And looking at Giles in P2, this is Pollard, who we are looking at, who is in 5th place overall and in class as well. Johnny Rue, the fastest out of all those in AM. We've only had 6 AM drivers post lap times as we speak. We're now looking at Johnny Wu, who is coming towards the right-hander in the final sector of the lap, the Boulderberg box, and he'll be going through the Jochen Rindt chicane and then the Jackie X chicane to round out the lap in the hope they can actually go back fastest, because Bart Raven has displaced him in that respective group.
Yeah, Bart Raven absolutely mint currently in this league. He is doing an absolute stellar job currently as well, sitting at the top of the standings as Raven. He's done incredible. He's first, second, first, and has totaled up 60 points already. Believe it or not, he finished second in race 2, and that was actually a drop week. Second place being a drop week. Absolutely amazing for Raven. Southfield's got purples on the board. What's the offset against the yellows he's got there? Is he going to get any time registered for that one? Gorham Smogy improves. Davidson goes up in the order. Hamlin improves, but goes down, unfortunately, for Hamlin there. So we'll keep an eye out and see what goes on in qualifying. Time's going to come in thick and fast. It will be a question of whether or not it's going to be dry by the time they get into the race. TRE, welcome in. Richard isn't here this race. No, he's not there. Back for round 6, I believe. So Richard Simnor back for round 6. Don't forget, we've got a 40-minute race. But, yeah, and with pit stops. So that's going to be interesting. So Simnor's Richard missing Watkins Glen as well. Is he away on holiday? TRE then. There's not many times you'll actually see Simnor missing 2 races in a row. Just as we go on board with Johnny Wu, he ends up going round. So, yeah, unfortunately for Johnny, bit of a tough one. Stefan Mellis has jumped him, gone up into 2nd place in the AMs. So Stefan there in that Porsche from the Bounty Hunter X team. And real life DJ, believe it or not, in an IRL. So there we go.
Well, we've got Stefan Mellis on a flying lap. He's improved in sectors 1, 2 and 4. So we expect him to maybe go in front of Bart Raven. It's only a fraction behind him. So this lap, if my prediction serves correctly, he should go ahead of all the AM drivers with this timed effort. How is he getting on here? It must be quicker than it was before. Let's have a look. Does he go quicker? I'm not sure he did, you know. Did Stefan Merz. I don't know whether he lost time in the last part of the lap.
Well, what did he do last time out? 51.31, fastest lap time there. So, no, he just matched it on that last one. Tom Davidson sitting in 6th, just about to come over the line. Liam Giles going in 4th, goes over the line as well. Ryan Walker is another one, the pros there from Team Altitude Esports. Massive shout out. I did watch an F4 race with Mark Fletcher in the other day. Big shout out to him as he took a victory there as well. I can't remember what he said was the reason. That's all right, TRE. I can't remember either, to be blatantly honest with you. I'm not going to lie. There's so much I do during the week and I end up getting confused. Smaggers Gal has got no time on the board. There he goes. Just pops himself into 20th on a 54.0 AM6 there. So Smaggers Gal sitting 7th in class at the moment. Still got times not on the board for Scott Warner, Marcio Lopez, Lewis Mason, Mav Gardner, Richard Phillips and Joe Thomas, sorry. No times as of yet. Nobody, they have not attempted to set a lap. So there we go. What's Kieran Sharp got to do here, Tom? What do we think's got to happen for Kieran Sharp?
Well, he's got to have a clean start. He's done well in this session so far, but Jack Southfield's lap is just something out of this world, and he's just got to maintain it. So if Kieran Sharp can just match Southfield's race pace, then he's within a chance of going for another win, just as what we saw from him a couple of weeks ago in Hockenheim. We're right on board with Kieran Sharp as he goes towards the last chicane of the lap. And is this going to be an improvement from before? So he's gone green in sectors 1 and 3, but how does he fare in the 5th and final sector? Was it an improvement from before? It is an improvement in time, but nowhere near good enough in position, and so remains in P2.
Yeah, there you go for Kieran Sharp. However, he's not at the greatest, mind you. Round 1 he DNF'd, round 3 DNF'd. He disconnected in round 3. His internet went poof. So, unfortunately for him, that was the problem. Pollard has got some greens on the board. He's also got a yellow. That offset from the yellow there should be out of offset from the greens. The greens should make it a faster lap there for Mikey Pollard. How much faster? 1:49.961 puts himself up into 5th. So Pollard there for the DCW Racing up in 5th place. He's just fortunate enough. He's the only DCW Racing boy in this race at this moment in time, because they do have a tendency to come together if there's more than 2 of them in a series. Trust me, seen it myself on there. So good job for Mikey Pollard. He's only here solo at this moment in time. Bobby Moss for the Nigel Mansell fan club. We've got a mix of Aston Martins at the front, and Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, McLaren there. And so good mix of manufacturers here, Tom, going into the last 2 minutes of qualifying. Not been too bad for some of these guys.
No, and I think those who have not really pushed in the first laps of this session, they're probably waiting for the best conditions because they know that the track is going to improve. So they preserved their tyres for the last couple of minutes, really. And you've just seen Bobby Moss going over the curbs at the Klein chicane, which won't help too much. Kieran Sharp is on an improvement as he heads towards the end of his lap, and he does improve his time, I believe, quite considerably. Although it was only like a couple of tenths, he remains in P2, so he's on the front row at least anyway, is Kieran Sharp. Miles Owens is on a lap as well. He's gone over the line, I would have thought, unless he had exceeded shot limits on his last effort. Fleming Jensen's coming round to complete his latest effort as we speak, but it's not an improvement, so he stays where he is in P7. Andrew Pike, he could do with a consistent drive this evening. He's currently 16th overall, make that 11th and 10th in class. It's just behind Tom Davidson in that respective group. Matt Cheverton, who could have been contending for the win in the first race, if you remember, at Oschersleben, until he had a coming together with someone at the hotel corner, which had set him back. He could well be one of those needing a strong result tonight as Bobby Moss goes up to P2 and onto the front row.
Yeah, Bobby Moss in that Porsche there. Blinding time for him, 49.19. Still not the same as Southfield. I think Southfield's just in his own little different league currently for Jack Southfield. But Raven sitting down in 14th. Is this going to be enough to go over the top of Stefan Mellis? Is he going to come over the line? Greens, yellows, 2 apiece. 3 yellows in the last one for Bart Raven. No. If anything, he loses the place to Johnny Woo. Johnny goes faster than Bart does. So Raven's got it all to do here. Clearly not a lover of Zolder. Clearly not a lover of the rain. And, well, we'll see how he gets on. Jamie Nuttall again, slightly improving. Is he going to get over the line? He is. Kieran Sharp is. Nuttall goes into second place at 48.964, the second man in the 48s. Miles Owens further down. Is the arm driver going to go over the line? What is he going to get on the board at the moment for Miles Owens? 51.1. Does go quicker, but not by much. No improvements currently for Mikey Pollard. Pike's got a green on the board, offset by 2 yellows. Cheverton's the same, 2 yellows offset by a green. So a lot of people struggling here. Struggling because we're in the rain, or struggling because we're Zolder in the rain?
Well, it feels more like tyre grip, even though they've clearly picked up so much of the water. The whole point of the tyres that they've got on is to disperse the water. But because they've worn the tread. They've worn the treads of these tyres, so it's no wonder they're not going to be at their optimal grip compared to earlier. And so you can just see Mike Pollard going over the line, and I don't think he improved on his latest effort that time around. But he's had a decent session anyway as Pollard. He can make up for it in the race, but what a lap from Jamie Nuttall to go up to second position. He clearly was able to find time as the conditions improved.
Yeah. 48.005 for Southfield. Nuttall in the 48s, 48.96s. Pollard here still out. Johnny Woo, green offset by yellows. Green in the final one as well. Is Johnny going to remove 157.28? He does improve, but doesn't actually go anywhere. Miles Owens has just gone and done the fastest time, purple, in sector 3. So let's see what Miles Owens is going to be able to do going over the line. It really does depend. We talk about offsets, talk about your purple could be, get straight into the pits. This is going to be an interesting one. We did say the pit lane was told the pit lane's going to be quite hairy, and it looks like he is going to be a little bit scary for some of these guys. Pollard's still out on the track, so is Bobby Moss. It'll be Pollard first, will come over the line. Bobby Moss will follow in the next one there as well, the last one to go over the line, ready for this grid. You're not improving, Mike. You're not improving at all, unfortunately. Let's see what he does in that final sector. I don't think this is going to be an improvement for Pollard whatsoever. And he is... No, there's the pit entry. That is how not to do that from Bobby Moss. So, yeah, be careful of the pit entry. The last thing you want to do is what Bobby Moss just did. So we can bring you up the grid very, very shortly here. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're on the TSRC or the JBB YouTube channel, don't forget like, subscribe, turn on the bells. Jack Southfield will be on pole position. Jamie Nuttall in second. Bobby Moss in third. Kieran Sharp will be in fourth. Then you've got Mikey Pollard, Liam Giles, Felix Smogey and Fleming Jensen round out the top 8. Stefan Mellis up into 9th, leading the AMs with Tom Davidson in 10th. Then Andrew Pike and Gwilym Hamlin behind him there as well. So great job on that one. Then you've got Ryan Walker, Johnny Woo, Miles Owens, Bart Raven, Nick Clemens, Matt Cheverton, Mark Pfizer, Matt Smith, James Smaggersgale, Thomas Martin, Mav Gardner, Joe Thomas, and then Scott Warner, Richard Phillips, Marcio Lopez, and Lewis Mason. Right, I'm going to jump onto the start screen in a minute. I've just got to adjust something really, really quickly. They are on a pace lap. We'll be back shortly. We are back. Apologies about that. Just had to make some audio adjustments on that, as these guys are on the pace lap ready to go here. So most of them on the wets. Gwilym Hamlin on dries. Johnny Woo on dries. Is that going to be a good idea, Tom?
Sorry, I missed that first part of the question. But I think in regards to the conditions, in terms of the tyres, if that's what you're alluding to.
I was alluding to the fact that we've got 2 drivers out on track on dry tyres.
Ooh, it's a bit risky, that. Yeah, it's going to be touch and go. I mean, they're going to need the exploratory lap to really find where the grip actually is. I mean, it looks on the exit of the Klein chicane, it looks almost bone dry over there, but pretty much everywhere else, it feels like it's too damp. So they're pretty much committing themselves here.
Yes, they are. It is currently Johnny Woo, Ryan Walker and Gwilym Hamlin on dry tyres. Let's see how this one's going to go, how this pace lap's going to go here. You can see the treads on the cars in front. You can see the slicks on the car we're on board with. So let's keep an eye for Gwilym Hamlin. He will be the first dry runner going into turn 1. Of course, this is not up to speed. This is just tootling around for Gwilym Hamlin. He should survive most of it there. Shroom, come on, Tom D, he says in YouTube chat there. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Does look like Scott Warner, Richard Phillips, Marcio Lopez and Lewis Mason are not going to take to the start here. There's nobody in the pit lane, so I'm guessing they will not be in the race. Tom Davidson sitting in 9th, Shroom, at this moment in time. So, let's keep an eye out and see how they get on. Tyre compounds, well, wet all the way through. Dries for Hamlin, dries for Woo and dries for Walker. I've seen this before, Tom, and it doesn't always work out for the dry runners.
No, it doesn't. It feels like there's still too much spray, so they're going to have to rely all those on the wets to disperse as much of the water as possible before they come into their zone. So I think for the first few laps, they're going to have to take the all-important hit and hope that the water or the track does dry out sooner rather than later before they come in for their stops.
They have got to make a pit stop anyway, regardless. We've got 44% fuel. They will have to come in and make one. Can they get to there? That's going to be the question for these dry runners. Can they get to the pit stops? So let us know in YouTube chat your opinions, whether or not Hamlin, Woo and Walker are going to get to the pit stops before they go off the track. Personally, I think they're going to go off well into turn 1, but we'll keep an eye and see how we get on. What do we reckon? Rain-soaked circuit, Zolder, 24 cars out on track at this moment in time. How bad do we reckon it's going to be?
Well, they've got to be sensible through the first few corners, because from other championships, no matter what the game cycle actually is, there is bound for something to go wrong. You know, someone could make a mistake by riding the curbs on the exit of the first sector, and then everyone just starts piling into each other. So it's vitally important that the front runners keep it clean throughout the first lap, but they have been briefed about how they battle around the opening stages.
Yeah, here we go then through the final corner. Southfield is the leader. When is he going to go? Well, steady. What's he doing? What's he doing? He's holding, he's holding, he's holding, he's holding. Still holding. Now we're green. Now we're up and running. Now we're at full speed. Moss, Sharp, Nuttall, Southfield into turn 1. Now we're going to keep an eye on Gwilym Hamlin. Is he going to make turn 1 very, very gingerly? Ryan Walker, same kind of scenario. Very gingerly made it through on that one. Johnny Woo also made it through turn 1. So the dry runners are still out on the racetrack. Southfield's taking the whole shot as they go rushing up into turn number 3. The right-hander through Lucia Blatchibot here, and Southfield leading the way. He's opened up nearly a second over Nuttall, who's got Moss pushing in behind him. Pollard's gained 1 over Sharp. There goes Ryan Walker. That's one of the dry runners. It's almost like a horse race who ain't got no shoes on. Southfield goes into the Klein. He takes still taking the lead. Nuttall second. Bobby Moss, Mikey Pollard all in there. Where is Gwilym Hamlin? He's dropping down the order. Where is Johnny Woo? He's dropping down the order. Dry runner's not going so well. Southfield opening up 1.5 seconds at the start.
Yeah, so Southfield getting a very nice getaway at the beginning, pulling away from Nuttall and Moss. But like you say, those on the slicks are very much beginning to struggle. But it will come back to them as we got a collision at the Villeneuve chicane.
Yep, Smaggersgale and Hamlin. Hamlin dries, Walker's out, dries. Johnny Woo's still running. Walker's got nothing. Literally no grip whatsoever. Definitely not the best choice for these. Johnny Woo still holding on, but for how much longer can this drive? That long?
Yeah, well, there's your answer.
Go. Literally right on point for Johnny Woo. Unbelievable there as well. I couldn't have been any more on it, even if I wanted to. Kieran Sharp battling side by side at the moment. Felix Smogey there at the front end of the grid for 6th and 7th. Mellis doing a great job in 10th. He's got ahead of Andrew Pike. Matt Cheverton behind him as here. So great job for Matt Cheverton sitting in 2nd, up 6 places. That was helped from some of the people going off here though, Tom. Didn't last very long, the dries, and unfortunately all 3 of them off.
Yeah, and they're going to find themselves with all sorts of words. They're going to fall too far behind before the pit stops even arrive. So even though there may come a point where the track starts to very much dry out and become a slick circuit, it'll be too late because they're already so far back from everyone else, and they're going to have to do a pit stop anyway.
Yeah, this is what happened over in the opening section. This is Ryan Walker. That was coming out of turn 3, and unfortunately for him, he had to go round. Felix Smogey also had a moment. Wonder what happened to Felix here. As we go behind the trees, was there contact, or did he just get it all wrong? And is he going to go round? No, he literally had to hit the brakes. Then Ryan Walker, another moment for this young man. Again, on the dry tyres. Gwillem Hamlin and Smaggersgale go off. Smaggersgale's looking up the inside, just collects Hamlin, unfortunately, for him on that one. But Raven has dropped down the order, and this is why Raven has dropped down the order. This is going to be the curb. This is going to be the BMW. What has gone on? The back end has come round. Miles Owens just in front of us having the same moment. We then, at that moment in time, we're talking about Johnny Woo. How long is he going to last out on the dry tyres? Coming down here into the chicane, Villeneuve chicane, he lasted this long. Onto the brakes, no grip, pirouetting, and around, unfortunately, for Johnny Woo, he goes. So not a good look for the dry tyre runners. They are all down the order. Ryan Walker still in the pits on wets. Woo still running. Hamlin still running. The question will be for how much longer? Well, as I said that, who was that? That was Gwillem Hamlin going wide at the same time, so never good. Get it into the pit lane, get your dry tyres on, get your fuel put in, and see how you get on. Southfield 3.6, Nuttall 2.7, then Bobby Moss in front of Mikey Pollard by 1.1. Pollard's got Giles, Smogey, Sharp, Davidson, and Jensen all in there. Mellis leading the hams. He's got Pike for company, just about to come round the corner. There he is. So yeah, great battles so far. Great getaways for the wet runners. Not good for the dry boys.
No, I think those will be, well, those on the dries will be ruined going on to slicks at this early stage. They should have just done what the weather was doing and just be on the wets like everyone else. They left themselves with more work to do than desired. We're on lap 3 of the race, coming up to the 5-minute mark. This race is going by that quickly, and I don't even know if the track's going to even dry before the race is over, because it feels to me like there's not enough of the water being dispersed by all 24 cars that are on the circuit.
Yeah, the problem is nobody's running one line. That's the thing, right? Due to the fact that obviously they're hunting out the grip. We've got what I like to be deemed as basically a jigsaw chucked on the table. Cars are hunting around. You can see there on the left-hand side, Smokey going one way, Sharp going another way. We've got a BMW Davidson in the background. He was just let through by Fleming Jensen. So if they were lining, very much line astern like they do in F1 when it's raining, they all only take one line anyway. That's fine, but you can disperse the water, but we're not here. You can see Mellis is in a different position to Jensen. Jensen's in a different position to Davidson. Sharp's going all over the track. You can see it in the background as well. Cheverton in a different position to the Clibbons behind him. Gardner. So then nobody is very much dispersing the water. So unfortunately, the line's not going to appear as quick as it was if they were very line astern, and they're not at this moment in time.
Well, the question now going to be for the wet runners, how far are they prepared to go before they do pit in? Because what you don't want to do is come in early, stay on the wets, and then as the track dries out before the end of the race, is feeling reluctant to go onto the dries. When you're on the wet tyres on a dry track, they will overheat very, very quickly, and they'll start falling away like a ton of bricks, essentially. So you've got to play it clever. You've got to kind of preempt when the track is going to really come into its own. Even though there's only a tiny bit of spray left on the circuit, it's still kind of the indicator that if you come in for 6, it could be the difference between winning the race and then not. And you have to understand, you have to force the crossover point from being on wets to being on slicks.
Yeah, nobody's going to be moving. Nobody at all at this moment in time. Sharp is holding on to that Porsche for dear life there. That was the biggest wiggle and a half from Kieran Sharp. It does look a little bit twitchy under braking, does this Porsche. What's it going to do coming into the left-hander? You can see the multiple movements, the sliding. He's trying to get it round the corner. Get off that curb. Can't get the power down. Get off that one, otherwise you're going to be going round here. You're coming now into turn 1 on board with Kieran Sharp in the Porsche, in the pros, sitting currently in 7th. Down into turn 1. It's going to be twitchy. It is going to be twitchy. He's trying to get it round. He's holding, he's jiggling, he's wiggling, trying to get it back there, coming into turn 2. Now what's he going to be able to do? He's trying to hunt out. There's the line. You can just kind of imagine where the line would be, Tom. It's like playing golf and trying to putt the golf ball on the green. You imagine where the line is, and you can just start kind of seeing where the line should be appearing. So the drivers really kind of want to pick up on that and run that line if they can.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of greens being posted on the last tour from the field. So the drivers clearly are finding all the grip they can. It's just, can they keep the tyres in the zone over the course of the next 15-20 minutes or so before they have to start pitting in? But like I say, you have to sort of know the crossover point, because once those tyres start falling away, if you know that if you are setting, for instance, 1 minute 51s and 2s instead of 48s and 49s that you were doing, then you know that the tyres are falling away. And that's although we've had a spinner, I don't know who that is, that's just spun round there after Villeneuve. It looks like Matt Smith has gone for a spin at that particular part of the course.
Which curb was it, Matt? Oh no, the Mercedes just decided, I'm going to come round on you there, and he moves out the way for Nuttall. So, but you see the track temperature's not really going up, the air temperature's not really going up at all, so therefore what's going to happen? It's not going to get any warmer. It's not going to help with the assistance there, as Bart Raven is, well, if his drop week was number 2, this could be joining him as well. This is an absolute awful race. No offence, Bart, if you watch this back, but you are having somewhat of a stinker as Stefan Mellis does the fastest lap on the race there for the AMS. 150.13 for Mellis, leading by 5.5 seconds over Cheverton. A great job from Stefan. Mikey Pollard, Bobby Moss battling it out for 3rd and 4th in the pros on this one. Lap 9, 10 minutes down. Do you know what? I think what these drivers will do is they're not going to rush in and take slicks. They'll run this car out empty. And the reason they're going to do it is because, as we know, when it stops raining, the track evolves and the track dries. The problem is at the base of a hill, it's like anything, puddles sit. So they've got to be careful. They will run this as long as possible and check what the track conditions will be when they come, before they even come in and make their tyre choice. Because if it's still wet and it hasn't got any hotter, Tom, there's no need for them to change tyres at all.
No, so they just need to make sure they don't push the tyres too much at this early stage. There is a fixed fuel system, I think, for these. I think it's something like 30 minutes.
Yeah, 44%.
Yeah, so they've got to... There'll come a point where they have to pit in anyway, so they would wish they would go as far as like the 35-minute mark if they wanted to. But because of this fuel system that they've got in these machines, they can only go as far as the 30-minute mark. So they've got to be clever. They're going to have to just keep the tyres in the zone. And when they know they've got some grip that they can absolutely use up, that's when they'll start coming in. But because of the track conditions, the way the track is evolving, those tyres will start falling away quicker. You can see there's a green lap now for Jamie Knuckles, so he's able to post his best lap of the race so far, but Jack Southfield has this one under control.
Yeah, Southfield absolutely dominating. He's 9 seconds up the road there. Tell Tom D to use the loud pedal on the right. He is, but you use it too much in the rain. And, well, you're going to go round. So, yeah, no choice on that one. In the wet, you can fuel save a lot. You can, Al. Now, that was where I was going next after we were just talking about fuel saving. We normally get to about 30 to 32, 35 somewhat if you can get that far. The question will be, will anybody try a no stop? Will anybody try no stopping and fuel and save fueling enough, Tom, to get to the end of the race? No. Well, we're raining again. Or is that just, no, I think that's just spray.
I think it's the spray from the cars in front. That's why Tom Davidson's windscreen wipers are in motion, but it doesn't seem to be impairing him at the moment as he makes his way through Villeneuve and going up the hill once more. But that's a really interesting point you've made there about the fuel, because some drivers won't be pushing too hard at this stage, and given the track conditions, you're not pushing the fuel down as quickly as you would be in the dry. So it pales the question, can they go all the way without needing to stop? You've got to understand how long it takes to do a pit stop round Zolder compared to what it would be if you didn't make a stop at all and you took the hit on circuit lap by lap by lap.
Well, I can tell you what, let's ask Alan. Alan in YouTube chat, are they going to go all the way? Are they going to get all the way with 44% fuel? It's going to be very close. And I think it could possibly make it. But it is going to be very, very close. It's going to be how much fuel they've saved. Let us know in YouTube chat, either way, whether or not you think they're going to be able to get to the end of the race. Gwilym Hamlin back out. Well, I thought he was in the pits, but he's not. He's on dry still. And still, yeah, not going well for Gwilym Hamlin. He's been around quite a few times. Matt Smith has had another one. Mark Pfizer has also had another incident here. So it's going to be very, very interesting whether or not these guys are going to be able to get to the end of the race. We've got about just coming near, what have we got? Quick maths, James. Come on that one. What have we got? 27 minutes to go.
Well, just looking at the lines, actually, on the second, when they went through towards Villeneuve, you could just see there's like a drier line developing compared to what's on the outside of the circuit. I don't know if that makes any form of difference whatsoever within iRacing, but it just feels like the track is somewhat drying, but it's not drying quickly enough because of the air and track temperatures. So even with the wet tyres that the drivers have got on at the moment, apart from Hamlin, who is still on dry tyres, so you can just see on the exit of the chicane that they're going through, there is definitely a drier line emerging.
Yeah, Alan Nero, pit lane roving Ted Kravitz. If they've started saving from lap 1, they can. Ooh, who's taken the opportunity to fuel save? One of the people that hasn't, and we haven't really covered him because he's been out in front by 10.9 seconds, is Mr. Southfield. So I don't believe he would have done. I believe he's just very, very quick as Jensen and Davidson are going side by side into turn 1. That is a McLaren in the orange, Jensen in the TSRC paint scheme in the BMW. Oh, Davidson, you feisty rascal there, forced Fleming Jensen a little bit wide going into turn 2. Now coming through, coming out the other side. Jensen's going to look for the push in free, not literally, but he's going to try. Is he? No, he's not. Not through Kleins. It's not a good idea to remotely try and overtake. However, up front, Kieran Sharp has decided he wants to. No, he's just stuck his nose out. Jensen settled in behind him, didn't get it done there. Pollard and Moss now closing in with Giles all together. This could be a three-way fight for effectively third on the podium. So let's see how Bobby Ross, Pollard, and also Felix Mogi with Liam Giles on the tail end here in that Mercedes get on.
Yeah, there's a laps car ahead of this lot. That'll be Hamlin, who is still on dry. So Hamlin has to be sensible and just do not intervene with what's going on here. But given the fact that Moss and Co are fighting amongst themselves. I doubt that they'll be fuel saving at this point. There is Hamlin, who has got what looks like Jamie Knuckle right behind him for position. And how does he go about it? He's coming into the pit, so he's decided that he's giving up the ghost. He's going to come in now, and I can tell you that Bobby Moss has decided to come in for a pit stop.
He is. So he's not going to the end. Neither is Kieran Sharp. He's coming in as well. So neither of these guys going to the end and trying the no stopper hit. They've all gone, Kieran Sharp and Bobby Moss, into the pit lane. Hamlin's in, finally. He should have probably come in after he couldn't work out it wasn't going to move there. Tom Davidson still with Jensen tucked right behind him. Let's go, Joe Thomas, says Jack Patrick in YouTube chat. Joe down in ninth in class at the moment, 20th overall in the AMS. So it's still out on track, which is more than most. So let's see how you get on and go from there.
No problem. So we've got a battle between Davidson and Jensen for position. This is them going through the Klein chicane, and you just see that Davidson's riding the curbs through there. Ahead of him is the 284 of Felix Smokey, who's just another couple of seconds ahead of Davidson. And then ahead of Smokey, we've got Liam Giles, who is on the tail of Mike Pollard for the final podium position. But Southfield's lead over Knuckle has increased to 14 seconds. And it's a question of whether any of them will decide to pit in at the end of the start, or even whether they're going to ever. In the AMS, we've got Stefan Mellis in the lead over Matt Cheverton, who is 6 seconds behind, with Gardner in third place and Smuggerscale hoping for another AM podium today, with Miles Owens running in fifth. There is Stefan Mellis heading through the penultimate chicane of the lap before Jackie X, but he's doing a fine job tonight, is Stefan Mellis, hoping to make his way up the order in the championship standings as we approach the halfway mark here in this TSRC Abruzzi GT4 race at Zolder.
Yeah, great job from all of these drivers. Tom Davidson still battling away with Fleming Jensen. This is one of the closest battles on track. Gardner has got Clibbons in front, 5.5 seconds back to Smaggersdale. Mark Pizer is chasing down Kieran Sharp, who's been in and out of the pits. Matt Smith is having a battle with Gwilym Hamlin. Both men have been in. I'm a little bit surprised that Gwilym Hamlin did not put wet tyres on. He is persevering here. Oh no, he's in the pit lane again. Don't forget to change your tyres. You're not gonna make it. Tom Davidson, Fleming Jensen battling away in the pros. This is for 6th and 7th. Mellis running away in the AMS. He's now just got to make sure he gets enough fuel in the car to make sure he actually gets to the end of the race. If anybody's watched Stefan Mellis, he ran out of fuel. Mav Gardner, Clibben still fighting their way through as well. So great action all the way through the race. But I can tell you one thing though, as Rain Masters go, I don't think I've seen a more dominant one than what Southfield's performing at the moment here, Tom. 15 seconds.
It's like he owns the circuit to Southfield as he heads through Jackie X once more and approaching the halfway mark. And you could just see from the shine there that there is a dry line trying to emerge, but Southfield won't be too fussed about that. He can find water everywhere he can and maintain the advantage. And he posts a new fastest up of the race.
Yeah, absolutely dominating Southfield. Again, temperatures have not changed. They've 19 degrees at the beginning, then 19 degrees now, 18-degree track temperature. Looks like Nick Clibbens has unfortunately had a moment. Well, he must have had a big moment there for Clibbens. Let's have a look through, see what he does as he goes off the side of the circuit. That's coming into turn 7 into Villeneuve. Is this going to be the same as what we saw Johnny Wu do? Nope. Applied the power. Didn't realise he was still on the curb for Mick Clibbens, and Bobby Moss and Nick Clibbens have now both had an incident again. What did you get up to, Bobby, as you've come out of the pit lane? Oh, dear me, this is exactly the same corner. Completely got it wrong, did Bobby there, running a little bit wide, and I got a funny feeling Clemens may be going into the pit lane, and has he caused himself some dramas in that BMW? He is in the pits. Oh, dearie me, please tell me you made it all the way through there, sir. Did you make it all the way around? Yes, just about. So great job from him. Nuttall, however, Pollard has closed right into the back of him now. By the looks of it, nobody's going to the end, right? I'm going to put that out there. We've had Bobby Moss pit, Kieran Sharp pit. Who else? Clibbins has gone into the pits. Obviously, the likes of Wu, Walker, Smith, and Hamlin. I think Hamlin is now out. No, he's still running. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He's still on dry tyres.
Well, it baffles me how he thinks he can continue on slicks, but there's no way he can go through the entire race being on slicks. And just looking at his times actually for Hamlin, the last lap he did was a 2-minute 18.8, but that's because I think he'd been in the pits. But his best lap of the race throughout this one has been a 157.4. Compared to Southfield, it's on a 47.5.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude, he's slow. Hamlin is Barbie on ice at this moment in time. But let's pick up on Nuttall and Pollard here. Let's see what the likes of Pollard from the DCW Racing can do. Is he going to be able to put Nuttall under pressure in that Cookie Monsters machine? For Jamie Nuttall in the BMW. Now, Nuttall is not in the new BMW. He's on the old one. He did run the new one, didn't like it. And he's now in the... Oh, come on, Mike. You know better than that. You know better than that. Oh, he has made Nuttall go defensive. He's looking for the run out the other side, though. Here we go. He set them up. He set him up. Now, what's he going to be able to do? He's got to run out of Kleins. Can he get it going down into Villeneuve? It's going to be hard for Pollard. It's got to be on the brakes. Yeah. No, not this time for Pollard there, but he set him up, Tom, going into Kleins to try and get the run out of Kleins to go round into Villeneuve.
Well, he's doing all sorts of dummying with him to try and find a way through. And what an exit he's had out of Villeneuve. Surely he's got to try and get alongside if he can, but Nuttall is able to read it before they get to the sharper right-hander. Pollard outbraking Nuttall. Oh.
And outbraking himself. He's going to have to try again. I can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to run him around the outside line, and he just needed to get it stopped a little bit sooner and almost sort of lean on Nuttall to go round, door bang him on the way through, lean on him to get round the corner, and he just didn't stop the Porsche quick enough, unfortunately, for Pollard. So great job, great effort. We knew what you were going to do, and we knew what you were trying to do there, Mike. You just didn't get the car stopped. So unfortunately, he's going to have to try again. Smokey and Giles are almost coming together as well. There's 7/10 back. Johnny Wu looks like he's had an incident, unfortunately for Johnny. That's put him all the way down in 10th. He's now on wet tyres. So fair play to Johnny Wu for being on the wet tyres. Smokey and Giles just coming in. They're both from the Crap Racing. It's TSRC 1, Crap Racing 2, DCW 3, Crap Racing 4, Crap Racing 5, and TSRC 6 with Tom Davidson. Mellis there up one, he's up 2 places, sitting in 7th, leading the AMs. And oh dearie me, poor old mate. When you drop week 2nd place, you can come and afford a bad one. And Bart Raven is, well, having that bad one. This will be his drop week. He's off again there, but couldn't get that BMW stopped. Down in 6th and 7th. Going to lose points in the championship to Mellis, of course. We'll see how many points he actually loses come the beginning of next week for Bart Raven. And at the moment, where are you? Stefan Mellis is in 5th place in the championship, 24 points away from Bart Raven. So we'll keep an eye out and see how they get on, of course. Raven with 2 victories, and Mellis will get 30 at this point, whereas Bart Raven is down in 6th. He will get only 15, so it's a 15-point gain from Mellis to Raven, and there's a 24-point deficit. So Mellis is going to pull that down now to about 9 points after this race. So great job from Stefan Mellis there, but bad one for Bart Raven. Nuttall Pollard side by side, turn 1. Pollard's going to have the inside. Nuttall's going to go around the outside. He's not going to be fearful because he needs that inside for 2. Nuttall's got to send it in deep. There's a back marker there trying to get out the way. You can see them coming. Trying now. This is where Pollard's got to be big, brave. Pick him up, stick him in your pocket, son. You've got to lean on him to get round the corner before him. Round through turn 2. Coming into 3 now. Nuttall in the Cookie Monsters BMW. Pollard in the DCW Porsche. Round turn 3 to go. Still side by side on the run up into Kleins. Pollard, if he needs to be well alongside, he needs to be well alongside. From behind the trees they come. Pollard does slot in behind in the end. Not going to be done in Kleins. I have never seen it work too wide through Klein chicane, and it's not going to work here.
No, Nuttall just read it, placing the car in all the right areas of the first sector there. It almost looked like that Pollard was going to be able to complete the job done around the outside, which would have been absolutely sensational and probably the overtake of the race. I'm looking at the times of Kieran Sharp because he came in at the same time as Bobby Moss did. So Bobby Moss's best lap time came on the new wet tyres, a 148.5, and Kieran Sharp just posted a 143.3, but he did his best lap the lap before with a 148.0. So it's clear, as you can see, Knuckle and Pollard just going toe-to-toe once more. I can imagine this is going to go on right to the very end.
Yeah, but who's going to go into the pit lane? Who's going to blink first? Are any of them going to go in? Pollard's got him. There you go. That's the first blinker. Pollard has got it in. What about Smokey and Giles? Nope, they carry on. TD, he goes off, carries on as well. Mellis, well, you're too fast into that corner there. Does just about get that Porsche stopped and is doing a great job in first in the AMS. But Mikey Pollard, first one to blink here, Tom, from the pros getting into the pits.
Yep. Now, he's got to make sure he gets out in front of Moss and Sharp because they were quick on their new wets since they had pitted in. And Pollard's got to make sure he has the best pit stop of his season so far and get out in front of the pair of them. So how far? Yeah, there is Bobby Moss, who is in front of Kieran Sharp. So we'll see whether he will get in front of Pollard by the time Pollard gets out. I think Moss has got Pollard on this occasion, unless Pollard's got something to respond to that. He's leaving the pits now. This is going to be mighty close between the two, but Pollard may be able to just sneak out in front of Moss on this occasion.
No, too long a pit stop. He might just make it out in front of Sharp. He did. It was too long. The pit lane, round that lane, I don't know if you've ever been Zolder pit lane on in a car. It's too long. He's got to go all the way around the outside. He was never going to make it out in front of Bobby Moss. Bobby Moss has jumped Mikey Pollard in the pit stop cycles. So unfortunately there is... Oh no. Oh, okay. I think he just entered the pit lane, Southfield. It come down that he'd had a crash. I was praying that that wasn't right. Miles Owens is coming out in... Look at the pit lane. So we are about 50 yards from the left-hand side of turn 1 at this moment in time. We're still looping, and then we're still trying to go all the way round. We don't come out of the pit lane to the exit of turn 2. It's very, very long, and it may have looked close, but it was never going to make it out. Smokey's in, Nuttall's in, Southfield's in. This should potentially free up Liam Giles to take the lead of the race. As you can see, here he comes now, the Mercedes. He does go through, does take the lead of the race. Tom Davidson does grab second. So nobody's going to try and go to the end unless Giles, Davidson or Pike have had something up their sleeve, Tom.
Well, Pike has not had a good season so far anyway, so he's got a shot at actually try and get to the end without having to do a stop. So you can just see Southfield getting out in front of him. So I don't think Pike is going to do anything about Southfield, but that's not really his race anyway. So he could just focus on keeping hold of 4th position. Giles and Davison, what will they be thinking? Can they potentially go to the end on a single set of wet tyres?
Oh, Nuttall's coming out of 2. Bobby Moss is coming out. They're going to be. Oh, how brave are you going to be, Bob? How brave are you going to be? Is he going to try and get Nuttall as well? Oh, Bobby Moss! No, he didn't get him. They were almost side by side coming out there. Nuttall coming out the pits. Moss coming through turn 2. He almost got in, did Bobby, on that one. He was so close. Now he's got to decide what he's going to do. He's going to take Nuttall a moment or two to get them wets back up into temperature. He can guarantee they didn't change them. There's no need. Oh, Moss has got a bad run coming out of the chicane. That's going to lead Pollard. Pollard down the other side now, coming into Villeneuve. Is he going to be able to make it through? Mikey Pollard, no. But Moss had a bad run out of Klein, Tom, that not only lost him time to Nuttall, it also brought Pollard right into the show.
Yeah, and just looking at the track conditions, I don't see as much spray as earlier. So if Giles is coming in, which he is now, does he stay on the wets or does he fancy maybe trying slicks?
No, it's going to be wet tyres all day, I think. All day. There's no way they're on dries, and if you don't believe me, just look at Gwilym Hamlin. Just done a 1:47.54. It's maybe looking at Hamlin's time, if that last time is correct. 1:47 is quicker than the rain runners. So does Giles put dries on? Does he then try and go for it? Is anybody going to go for it? Or are they all going to not go for it? Giles coming out of the pits. Nuttall coming down into turn 2, into turn 1. Again, the dynamic of the pit lane is going to make it very, very slow for Giles. He's going to lose it. What's gone on? Bobby Moss is round. Oh, no. That's Pollard. He's leaning. It's Kieran Sharp in the background. Was there contact or did... Oh, there was, but Moss wasn't on the apex. He wasn't anywhere near the apex. He'd gone in too deep, missed his turning, and Bobby Moss is down the order, 10th place behind the leading hands of Stefan Mellis. Pollard now in where is he at the moment? In 4th, alongside Liam Giles and Kieran Sharp. So there we go. But yeah, if Hamlin's time's right, 47.5, he's quicker than Southfield at the moment.
Well, we're at the crossover point, but we are running out of time in this race. And the best that Hamlin can hope for is for those to just fall off ahead of him and gain so much time and hope that a lot of them are going to head for the pits. But he's so far back anyway, so he'll have to hope they stay out there. Davidson's coming into the pits. Now, this is an important moment. Will Davidson fancy going onto the slicks to give himself a chance of going for a podium?
God, do you know what? If anybody's got to have a go at it, Davidson's got to have a go. He's on dries at the moment. He's on wets at the moment. And currently, looking at Hamlin's time, he's just done a 1:46. So he's just done a 1:46 on dries. So what do? Do you go up in the air and put dry tyres on? Do you not go up on the air? And at the moment, Tom Davidson is choosing not to go up in the air and put the dry tyres on. He would be 2 seconds quicker than the guys in and around him for Tom. Had he just poled a master stroke? Nuttall's on his way round turn 1. Davidson's coming out of 2. Nuttall's going to be near enough there. They're going to be coming out. TD's going to jump him coming through turn 2. He needs a back marker. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. There's the Mercedes as well. Tom Davidson has got into second. How long is he going to hold him? Use the back marker, Tom. Block him in. Block him in. Through turn 2 he goes. Tom Davidson jumped Jamie Nuttall. The question is, can he stay there going into the last 6 minutes of the race?
It's really hard to know now. I don't even think Davidson changed his tyres. I think he maybe just put fuel in and carried on his way because it was a very short stop and it's helped him get out in front of Jamie Nuttall into second position on merit. But it's far from over as Knuckles still fancies sending it somewhere around the lab. He won't do it around Villeneuve because it's too narrow anyway. He has to hope that Davidson makes a mistake, but he may be able to send it into the slow right-hander of Boulderberg and hope that he can maybe get alongside before the Jack Hicks chicane.
1:46.09. For Hamlin on the dry tyres, 1:46.09. He's going to try and send him deep into turn 9 here. He's going to try and go around the outside. Joachim Ringbot now. Now Gwilym Hamlin's on the left. Is Davidson going to be able to get the pace down in that BMW? Lights are ablazing. Let's see what they're going to do here. He did get through. Nuttall cleared Davidson. Now Davidson's got to pick and try and come back at him. Through Jackie Hippot we go. Now on the run down into Earth for turn 1. This is got to be about what Tom Davidson's got to do. Get up behind him. Almost stick your nose so far up his exhaust, son. You can see his steering wheel. Now put it into the inside of turn 1. Davidson settles in again, just going into 1. No real movements there. Now he's got to look coming through 2 and 2. Is he going to stay as close as he needs to, Tom? Has he got the pace to keep up with Nuttall? Did he make a mistake not putting the dry tyres on?
Well, that's something for later, but now he's got to find where the grip actually is. If he can try and take a different line to what Knuckle does, then Davidson maybe get all the traction he needs to stay within the slipstream, but you can just see he's beginning to drop back now. And I think that's the difference between even changing tyres and not at all, because I'm sure Knuckle changed his tyres, whereas Davidson did not.
Oh, Nuttall got it wrong. Oh, Nuttall got it wrong. That's going to put TD right up beside him over the bridge. Is he going to be able to get up there going into Villeneuve? It's not. Nuttall got that turn wrong. He's got to go on the defensive. Tom Davidson now has got to get the run out of Villeneuve. It's starting to dry. It is starting to dry. And is the temperature going up? No. Is the weather still the same? Absolutely. Is the track still wet? Well, Gwilym Hamlin's proven us that it might be drying out a little bit here. 46.09 for Gwilym Hamlin. But this battle, even Kieran Sharp in the background with Liam Giles. Great run there. Pollard just went in too deep again into that final corner before they go down into Igport, and at the moment Nuttall's holding on here, Tom, but for how long?
Well, it's a moment of truth now. He's got 2 more laps to really just keep it in there, keep the tyres in the zone. Davidson's tyres will be past their best by a long way. Southfield's lead is nearly half a minute over the battle for second place.
Yeah, Southfield doing a great job. He's basically 29 seconds up the road. Davidson's there. Where's the nearest? Is there a car near him? Oh, there's not. There's not even a back marker that Davidson can rely on. He's got Southfield and Clibbons, but Clibbons is too far ahead. I don't think they're going to be able to get him here. Kieran Sharp is going to have a go. Joe Thomas has just been off track. He got overtaken by Thomas Martin. Sharp's now nestled in behind him. Gwilym Hamlin still in the 146s. 146.15 here. So let's see how it gets going now. But Nuttall opening up a little bit of gap, almost out at a second. Pollard cannot afford to do that. Davidson got himself out of the pit lane. He's now sitting in the middle, coming into Villeneuve, and it's going to be the final lap of the race this time as well. Richardson, hello from Wales. Hello, young sir. Hope you got your Velcro wellies, because I can tell you one thing, you might just need them. Southfield coming over. He's going to be starting the line, but this battle for second could be any one of 5 cars here, Tom.
Yeah, Hamlin's just posted a 1:45.1. That's the fastest lap of the race. But it's too little too late if he's going to salvage anything from this. But we've now got a 5-car battle for second place with just over 1 lap remaining.
Yeah, here we go. 1 lap. That is currently Nuttall, Davidson, Pollard, Giles and Sharp all fighting it out on the final lap of the race. Let's see what goes on. We will pick up the leader when he goes over the line, which at the moment is Southfield all day. There's no one getting near Jack Southfield. He's led by 30 seconds. He was 9 seconds up 15 minutes into the race, and now Nuttall is absolutely under pressure. Final lap for these guys. Is this gonna be a Nuttall second, Davidson second, or a Pollard second? Well, stay tuned, guys. It's now getting to the end of the race. Hamlin has showed that dry tyres worked, but he's the lap down. He's out of the way. He went on dries at the beginning, crashed, kaput, went up in smoke and flames, did Gwilym Hamlin, and now he is sitting all the way down. He's a lap down somewhere in something 22nd part, but he is on dries and he's now quickest. But this is where the battle is developing. You can see it all here. Nuttall, Davidson, Pollard, Giles and Sharp as they go through Klein for the final time, while our leader comes round in through Joachim Rimbot, coming into Jackie at bottom. We will pick up Southfield going over the line here as well. This battle is not stopping, Tom.
No, not stopping by any means. They're just trying to find an opportunity. They've got 2 more opportunities. It's the Burger Bot and the Jackie Hitch chicane to round out the lap. And you can see Southfield crossing over the line to take a convincing victory, and well deserved.
Yeah, Southfield comes over the line. Jack Southfield wins by 32 seconds. Jack, I do love you and I'd love to celebrate, but I want to find out what's going on back here. It is absolute carnage. Sharpie, you big bully. Pushing Giles out of the way on that one. Nuttall looks like he's going to hang on. Kieran Sharp do the right thing, and he is. He's letting Giles come back through, but it's going to be a Nuttall second. Jamie Nuttall's going to take second. Davidson grabs third, up 7 places for Tom Davidson's got to be a contender, a driver of the day. Absolutely stellar job, along with Jack Southfield, who just absolutely dominated. Sharp still waiting for Giles. Where are you? Oh, he's parked in a wall. He can't go back through. Is he going to be able to get that car running? Stefan Mellis comes over the line. He wraps up the AMs. He wraps up the AM win. Great job from Stefan. Kieran Sharp still waiting for Liam Giles. Where is Giles? He's on his way now. There's Kieran Sharp toodling down the start-finish line. He goes over the line now, and Matt Cheverton is taking second place in the AMs with Mav Gardner wrapping out third. But you got to be honest, Tom, that was a stunning final lap.
It was so intense as well. The fight for second place in Pro. I'm looking at Hamlin actually, because he's got the gap now. He's crossed over the line now with the fastest up of the race, a 1:43.9. He'd have wished there was 10 more minutes of this race, and maybe he could have got something positive out of it.
Yeah, I don't know what he would have got though. He needed to be on wets at the beginning, and he needed a late pit stop. So there you go. Pollard not on a podium. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. No, but he got jumped. That was the problem. He got jumped by Davidson in the pit stop cycle. Davidson pulled a master. He went long. He took the lead. He ran it out till literally it's empty. And I think it is empty. Oh, it is. He's got nothing left. Poor old Tom. Who's down in 12th at the moment? Nobody. Who could? Oh, poor old Tom Davidson. He did, however, pull an absolute masterstroke. So fair play with Tom Davidson. Let's bring you up the results of the race. Let's do the overalls. I don't want them all separated like that. Let's do the overalls. Jack Southfield is your winner by 31 seconds. Jamie Nuttall in second. Tom Davidson, oh dude, you pulled a masterstroke. Up 7 places as well. +7 for Tom. Stunning job in third place. Mikey Pollard in 4th. Felix Smoggy in 5th. Fleming Jensen in 6th. Andrew Pike 7th. Then you've got Bobby Moss in 8th place. Massive shout out to the man who wins for the AMs. His first victory at a rain-soaked Zolder in the AMs. Stefan Mellis. Kieran Sharp down in 10th after having contact with Liam Giles. Matt Chaverton in 11th. Mav Gardner rounding out the podium for the AMs. Swaggers Gale just missing out in 13th. Giles down in 14th in the end. Miles 15th. Bart Raven in 16th. Nick Clement 17th. And Thomas Martin rounding out the top 18. Moving on, we've got Joe Thomas 19th. Johnny Woo 20th. Then Matt Smith. Gwillem Hamlin. Man, he pulled a masterstroke on the dries, but he probably shouldn't have been on there at the beginning of the race. Ryan Walker, another one who was on dries at the beginning, didn't go well. Mark Pfizer, 24th. Scott Warner, 25th. Richard Phillips, Marcio Lopez, Lee Mason, and Scott actually did not start the race. The dry runners down the back end at the moment, Johnny Woo, Gwillem Hamlin, and Ryan Walker. Joe Thomas was on dries at the end and ended up in 7th place. So you've got to be honest, that was very, very interesting. It was a tale for some of a roller coaster. I think for Gwillem Hamlin, if he stayed on the wets at the beginning, Tom, he would have been in a great position at the end.
It would have been a sensational ending for him, wouldn't it? I just have to say, if he was on the wets like everyone else, remained out there for as long as, half an hour of that race, he would have gone onto the slicks and then just absolutely made his way through the field. Even if it's like 15 seconds off the lead or something along those lines, he could have got easily a podium out of it.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Let's bring in the man. Let's have a chat with Stefan Mellis, the man who has just taken his first AM win, and he did it at a rain-soaked Zolder. Finally, he didn't run out of fuel either. But let's bring him in now. Stefan, welcome in, buddy. How are you? Stefan! come on. Don't do this to me, dude. You've got to be here. Come on. How can we not have a chat with a man who's just won the AMS? What's going on? We'll give him a minute here. Give him a minute. As I just message him. Give him a minute to try and get this sorted out. He's just completely deafened himself, so we'll put him back in. Now, I've got somebody called Mr. Timeout here. This is going to be an interesting. Can I have your name, sir?
That would be Jack.
Okay, Jack. Right. Let's give you a proper intro, right? After that one. We've got to sort it out. Give me a minute, bud. Give me a minute on this one. We're going to have a chat with a man who led the pros. He put his favourite grandma in the car and took her for a spin round Zolder. Was never under pressure once. He got away at the start. Absolutely dominated. And he had time to stop for a McDonald's, KFC and whatever else tickles his fancy as well. But let's bring him into the booth now. Jack, welcome in.
Hello, hello. Thank you very much.
Mate, if we're going to do it, we've got to do it properly, right? You know what I mean? So, there you go. Jack, look, I said it all in the intro, dude. You literally dominated.
Yeah, it was good fun. Very good fun. Didn't really... I haven't done all too much driving in the wet on iRacing, but maybe I need to do a bit more, because it's good fun. It's very good fun. Like, as you see me get a slowdown on that chicane on the replay, but yeah, no, it's really, really good fun. Like, you can slide it really nicely, and it's like much more interesting than the normal like iRacing driving style, I think, which is obviously being really smooth, and whereas this is a lot more about sliding and throttle control, so it's great.
Do you know what, Jack? All right, people like you do my nutting in this way, because you've just turned round and gone, maybe I haven't done much practice in the rain, but yeah, you've just gone out and driven an Aston Martin and finished 30 seconds in front. How much more practice do you need?
Well, I didn't do any, like, before I only turned up to the practice session in the race, but it is good. Like, that's enough practice. It's like an hour long. That's all you really need. And but no, it is good. Like, I feel like in the wet, practice doesn't do a lot because it's not always the same. So I feel like if you practice like you could practice for a whole day before, I don't think you'd get any quicker really, or not much, because you don't approach it like you're not doing the same thing every lap, because the conditions change massively. Like, even in quali, you could feel it lap to lap, where sometimes randomly you go through a corner, it feels exactly the same as it did the previous lap, but you're 3/10 up, and then at the end of the lap you've just lost 5/10 for no reason. It's just because the track's different, which you don't really get so much in the dry. So I don't feel like it's worth doing the practice really in the wet.
Okay, Jack, you've just probably made every struggling driver in the rain extremely jealous on that one there, dear sir. But listen, dominant, Jack. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just Sharpie and Fish for putting on these events. They're good fun. Hop in and watch the one on Sunday, the sports car series. I'm hoping to do that as well, so that'd be good. I don't know what track it is, but it'd be good. Very good.
It will be. Dude, it's a stunning job. Jack, thank you so much there, buddy, and I'll look up to you soon.
Yeah.
Right, now let's try and have a chat with the man that took his first ever win in the AMS. He never ran out of fuel. He made it to the end of the race in that Bounty Hunter X Porsche, and he's just done a absolute stunning job. Stefan, welcome in. Can you hear me now?
I think so. I could hear you, but can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, perfect.
All right. First off, well, let's talk about it. Great qualifying to start off with.
Yes. Yeah, practice. I did a lot of practice, so and that is good.
That is good. Don't listen to Jack Southfield's interview, though, who just dominated by 30 seconds. He said he only practiced when he got in the session.
Okay.
So, you know, on that one. But listen, first overall win as well. First win in the AMS.
Yes, I'm very glad. I'm very happy with it.
You didn't run out of fuel.
No. I did put 1 liter less than they said, but it came all good. Luckily.
Okay. Lucky, I'm glad you said luckily there, sir, because if it didn't work out for you and you run out of fuel again from the lead, I think me and you would be having a different conversation.
Last time I was looking at the wrong numbers. I thought I was at 1.8 lap to go, but it was 1 liters, so that was not good. That's why I was out of fuel.
Yeah, well, you did an absolutely stunning job there, buddy, and well done for taking the victory in the AMS.
Yep.
That's going to give you a nice little buffer in the championship as well. How do you see yourself this season? Do you think you could come out and challenge up front? Because Bart didn't have a good one in the rain.
I hope the next races it will rain.
I agree. I think that's the hope, to be honest, because Raven did not love the rain at all. We're going to Watkins Glen, so we will have to see what happens on that one. But listen, Stefan, it's amazing for you to take the victory. Well done. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
My wife for her patience and my sponsors on my agency, and then everybody.
All right, mate. Well, awesome job. Stefan, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Congratulations on your first win in the AMS.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
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 Right. There you go. I get to have a chat with Mr. Stefan Mellis on that one. Tom, final thoughts?
It was a brilliant race, probably the best one of the season, arguably, with some brilliant battles. A shame that Hamlin didn't have enough time to catch up to the rest. Bearing in mind, he should have been on the wets at the beginning, but he'll learn from it going forward, as will the drivers who will be thinking about how to tackle Watkins Glen, because I can imagine it's going to be quite some circuit to absolutely nail, no matter which conditions you are racing in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, that's going to bring it to an end. Thank you so much for joining us here as well. It's been a great Zolder. Join us next time for Watkins Glen. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.